So I'm gonna assume that most people have been to either a craft show or at least a flea market before, or something similar where people get together and they set up booths with all of their own like handmade items on them. And people can just come in, check it out, and even buy it if they really like it. Personally, as a kid, I would go to craft shows with my mom and my aunt and like their friends. And even now I still occasionally do because a lot of the stuff there is really impressive that these people made. But over the last couple years, I want to say specifically after COVID, people have been noticing things changing in the whole craft show environment, and it has to do with the items being sold by people and that they are just not what they used to be. Hi, my name is Alyssa and I'm a Billy fan. If you can see that, then obviously. And I have not done craft shows personally. I am not at that skill level, both in my art and socially. However, like I said, I have been to many craft shows. What we are going to be talking about today is something that I have noticed too over the past few years, and that is what has been called vendor slop. Now, vendor slop essentially when vendors are selling sloppy items. And throughout this video we will see that that mostly refers to 3D printed items, but it can also refer to items that are just printed AI pictures or just junk that they got off of AliExpress. And these people go to craft shows with actual artists around them and literally sell the stuff. And it is kind of taking over craft shows. But let's get into it. So this was first brought to my attention by a video that went kind of like, I wouldn't say viral on TikTok, what do I say, like semi-viral. It was just brought to my attention by TikTok because a lot of people were talking about it. It is a video by a woman named Rosie, who goes by Rosie's Woodshop on TikTok. And she posted a video with text that says, POV, you find a market that promised 20,000 people and sold nothing. And she shows off her sign a bit in the TikTok and then some of the items at her table. Let's start off. You're going to a market with 20,000 people and sold nothing. Unfortunately, that can happen at craft shows where your target audience just isn't there. You know what I mean? People just don't have money at that time. There are a bunch of different factors that can affect that doesn't have to do with your work. But unfortunately, your work does play a part in it most of the time. So let's take a look at her chalkboard and see what she's selling. So according to her chalkboard, she sells laser engravings, 3D printed items, woodworking, and then epoxy, which let me recheck real quick, but I believe that's resin. Okay, so epoxy is a versatile high-strength plastic and adhesive that hardens irreversibly through a chemical reaction. Yeah, so it's just resin, basically. Now, woodworking and engraving can be really cool things, you know what I mean? Now, obviously, you have to have pretty fresh ideas because you're not going to be the only one doing those things. But even if your work is similar to other people's, you know, as long as your work is like nice and clean, you can make it stand out good, you know what I mean? I gotta stop saying you know what I mean. Like, I feel like it's an actual issue at this point. Unfortunately though, and I know she does not show many, and she unfortunately doesn't show like a lot of her table that was set up at this like event that she was at. But from the quick glance that she showed and in the background of the first clip, all I could really see was the 3D printed stuff. And a lot of it was pretty simple vase designs too. And it kind of sounds mean to say, but if I'm on the hunt for a vase and I'm at a like craft fair, I would much rather spend my money on a well-made vase made out of like actual clay and like glaze, one that I know that's gonna last and be like reliable and was made with a lot of care and stuff, than put my money in cheap plastic that was made by a machine. Like, I mean, like, I don't want to completely knock 3D printers because I know, like, you do have to put the code in and stuff, And I'm sure that takes a lot of work, assuming like they're not just copy and pasted codes. And I think people can use 3D printers for some pretty cool things. But I feel like that would be more like add-ons, you know what I mean? But unfortunately, her designs just look fairly simple. And resin, I have kind of a mixed feelings about resin. I heard it's pretty bad for the environment, actually. Which, I mean, yeah, irreversibly hardened plastic probably is. I don't know the full details of that, but unfortunately, I don't think resin is gonna sell as well as it used to. Or, I mean, I don't know if it really ever sold too well. But again, same with like everything else basically. If you don't have kind of a new idea and it's only like really simple things you're doing with it, you're not really gonna sell it, you know what I mean? Because it's something that almost everyone can do. And again, that sounds so mean to say. If you have even a little bit of crafting knowledge, it's kind of easy to look at something and be like, oh yeah, that's cool. I feel like I could pick that up in like a day or two. And like, that's the thing with craft fairs, is that these people have, most of the people at these craft fairs, or at least the people who used to go to craft fairs, had really cool and interesting ideas. They had such intricate like things that they would make. I know for me, my first time really appreciating the people at the craft fairs was like the wreaths that people would make. I'm just gonna put a picture. I have like a speech impediment or something. But the wreaths that people would make were like so intricate and stuff, and they were really cool. Like I was like, I feel like I could do that, and like maybe I could if I had the time and patience. You know what I mean? But one year for Christmas, I tried to make my mom a wreath, thinking I got it right that time. But I tried to make my mom a wreath for Christmas one year, and it just didn't go well. And I'm kind of like, and now anytime I see these people selling like wreaths, now I can't get it. Anytime I see these people selling them at craft fairs, I'm now like, I have a deeper appreciation for it now, because I'm like, that must have taken so long, like so much effort. Like I could barely handle it. Like, I mean, I was a kid when I tried to make my mom a wreath for Christmas, so maybe now that I have a lot more like art and craft experience, I could probably do it at least a little bit better. But some of these ladies making these wreaths, they go crazy, I'll just say that. Like, and that's where almost all of ours are from. Like, all of our, like, all of the wreath, oh my god, all of the wreaths my mom has, like, are from craft shows, you know what I mean? Like, she has, like, every season. My mom goes insane with those things. And they're really impressive. They're really durable, too. Like, some of these have literally, we've had since I was, like, a baby, essentially. All of this to say, when you are at a craft fair, you have to have really nice, like, you have to have really neat, nice, and your art has to stand out, you know? Like, again, at craft fairs, there's not only one booth selling wreaths, there are a ton. But we have gotten them from multiple booths. Like, each one has different types and different ideas. But if you're just making really basic designs that, like, anyone can either make or have, like, nothing too intricate or special, then, yeah, unfortunately that's not gonna sell too well. And again, she says she does woodworking and engraving. That could be super cool, but unfortunately her booth is just all 3D printed stuff, and I think maybe like a resin dish or two I saw on there. Like, you can do super cool things with 3D printing and resin. Again, I feel horrible saying it, but her designs are just fairly basic. And I'm looking at the comments here now because I think she turned them back on. I think they were off for a bit. But this one says that 3D printing is not a craft. I honestly do have to agree, because can you make some pretty cool things with 3D printing? With like the like coding and stuff, and like obviously you can use it as a base and then like paint it however you want to, but selling it as a craft and stuff, like, and again, her designs are basic. It literally, I feel horrible saying it, it seems so mean, but they do really just look like she copy and pasted a basic code in, let the machine print it for a bit, took it off, and then called it a day. Like, it doesn't look like there were any, like, modifications made to it or anything. Like, it's just basic blue, you know what I mean? Bringing 3D printed stuff to a craft fair is like bringing your frozen meal to a cooking competition. So that's actually That's a really good, that's actually a crazy good, like, what would that be, an analogy, I think? I don't know. That's really smart, though, because it is. It makes a lot of sense, though, because, like, with the, like, frozen meal, the food's already made. All you have to do is put it in the microwave and let the microwave heat it up for you. And with 3D printed stuff, you're just putting in a code, like, maybe you're not even making it yourself, you're just putting it in a code, and then you're letting the 3D printer make the thing for you. Like, literally, you don't have to watch it or anything. You just, like, sit back while it does all the work. And yeah, if you were to bring a frozen meal to a cooking competition, all the people around you are, like, actual chefs and working really hard to get their food noticed and stuff. And it's the same with the craft show. You're bringing this 3D printed stuff that you didn't have to spend hours working on, a machine did, and you're trying to get them to notice you, even though you're surrounded by people who have worked super hard for their work to be shown to other people. And this is gonna sound so horrible, but in a way, I'm kind of really glad that she didn't sell anything. Again, that sounds so mean, but I'm glad that nobody stopped to acknowledge a table just full of 3D printed junk. People like this don't realize that craft shows aren't just like a quick, easy way to make money by just selling things. People are smarter than they realize, and they're gonna recognize junk most of the time. But most of the time, people are gonna recognize just straight up junk and not buy it, and I'm happy for that, honestly. Like, I hope the people making actual crafts got those sales. Ooh, someone in the comments, I don't know if this is true or not, they said, I was there, you still had leftover pieces from the printer on your items. Dude, and that's what I'm talking about, like, just putting in no effort and thinking that, like, craft shows are just, like, an easy way out to make money. Because, unfortunately, yes, people will buy slop, but I'm glad that it's not as many people as you think. Or, like, maybe it's just certain areas, you know what I mean? But either way, I'm glad that she didn't get sales, especially if she truly did just have leftover, like, printer pieces, because, like, have you got, I'm assuming you've seen the videos where, like, the 3D printers do leave behind, like, some pieces now, but, like, support itself and stuff, and you kind of just have to, like, pick them off. But leaving those on there is crazy. And I kind of didn't want to say anything, but now that that's been brought up, I kind of feel more comfortable saying it. You can clearly see in, like, the sunlight, the, like, rings of on the vases that the 3D printer left. Oh, again, if I'm gonna go spend my money on a vase, I'm gonna spend my money on a vase at a craft show, I want it to be made by someone who actually does ceramics. I want, like, actual care put into the item that I'm buying. And personally for me, there have been so many times where I could have just bought stuff and instead I made it because I just thought it would be fun to make, and I care about the items more that I make. You know, like, I know how much effort I put into it. I know what went into it. Like, it's just a different feeling to get something actually handmade by a person rather than coded and made by a machine spitting out plastic. Oh wait, she made a response video. Hold on. Wait, I was gonna check out some other videos, but let's take a little detour and watch her response video quick.
Okay, so that happened on Instagram. That happened on TikTok. And then people were really, really mean. And then this happened. And I'm so thankful for the community, the maker community, the random strangers DMing me, like, all of these messages. Like, it was a really hard last few days, but you know what? I'm just gonna come back stronger. And you guys can hate me all you want, but yeah, leave me alone.
I mean, I feel bad that all the hate, like, I don't know what to say about that, honestly. I feel bad that all the hate, like, got to her so much and stuff, because, again, assuming she does her woodworking and engraving herself, which she should focus on, that's what she should mainly focus on. Again, if she truly has unique ideas for that and is good at it, then yeah, she should be focusing on that, because that could do super well. But I'm also gonna assume that the people supporting her are other people who are like, we can take our 3D printed stuff to craft fairs. We can completely destroy the entire concept of a craft fair. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that. I mean, I didn't really expect someone who was already selling 3D printed and resin stuff. Well, I shouldn't really focus too much on the resin, actually, but it's just really common now. But the 3D printed stuff especially, you shouldn't really expect someone who does that to really take any criticism and change. Somebody said, "Leave me alone," that's exactly what everyone at the event did. I'm liking that, that's funny as shit. Yeah, she has a lot of videos of her in like her like wood workshop and stuff, and her work doesn't look bad. Like, she's making like bowls and stuff. Really think she should be sticking with the engraving and the woodwork. Like, I know it takes a lot longer, but if you're going to an event and only selling well, I shouldn't say selling because she didn't. Wait, that sounds so mean. But if you're only going into an event with 3D printed stuff and not selling anything, I think it would be better to take time in between events to really work on your woodworking. And even if you're doing less events a year, if you're good, woodworking is good quality, if you have unique ideas, it's stuff that people are in the market for maybe. You know, if you do it right, even if you're doing less events a year, if you're selling better quality products and taking more time on it, you'll end up making more money rather than going to these events, which do cost money to like set up a booth and stuff at least most of the time. Like, it's better than wasting your time and money at these events and not selling anything with junk than just taking your time and making actual like woodworking stuff that is good and will make you money. But Rosie is not the only one who is selling 3D stuff, because in a lot of places it is quite the problem at craft shows that there are vendors showing up just selling complete slop. I kind of want to say it's worse than Rosie's booth, but I mean, maybe they're on the same level. Oh, but level? I don't know what my problem is with talking today. But let's watch this video and see what this person found. So we can see a bit in this video of this person walking by a booth with 3D printed dragons, and these I've heard have been an issue for a while. Actually, I witnessed this firsthand. I've witnessed, like, I'll save the story because I witnessed like all of these in this video firsthand. The person then goes up to a booth with a bunch of like drink tumblers that just look like they're poorly made from AliExpress, you know, like just don't have like original designs on them, you know, might even be AI art on them. And then the person walks up to a second booth with these same tumblers, essentially, just AliExpress stuff. Like, you can tell when something's handmade and when something's not, because selling handmade cups and stuff can be super cool, you know? But obviously, these people did not make these cups. The person then goes to another booth with these same cups, essentially, just like the bigger Stanley version. The person then walks up to a booth with clearly AI art, and then another booth with cups. At this point, if there is somebody selling actual handmade cups, I feel bad for them because they have to get like lumped into the like AliExpress junk crowd. Like, generally, people could like paint cups and like maybe even like engrave on cups. Your work could be super good, but like unfortunately it could just get overshadowed with, or honestly maybe it might make you stand out more, I don't know. The person then shows off even more cups, and then a booth that has like crew neck shirt or crew neck like pullovers with AI printed designs on them. Probably also from like AliExpress or like Temu or something like that, because I highly doubt if you're using an AI design you also took the time to actually like print out the design and either like use like a Cricut or whatever those things are called to like put it on the shirt or like iron it on the shirt. Like, it hurts my heart so much that this is a Halloween like fall themed craft fair, it seems like. I love Halloween so much. I love all the fall Halloween aesthetic, so just seeing it brought to this is devastating. But anyways, time for my story time. So Thanksgiving 2025, I was in Hawaii on vacation, and at our hotel they were having a craft fair over the weekend. Super duper cool. Obviously, we stopped by in the morning, we checked it out. Super cool. Very nice people. I talked to this one lady who was a baker. She had very good banana bread. She literally got up like early that morning, made like almost all of it fresh. You know, like her mom was there with her, like very proud of her. Like super sweet people. Love all of them. But there were a few booths that stuck out for me for the wrong reasons. I honestly don't even know if I would call this one a booth, since they were taking up like 4 spaces, but there was literally just one booth that was selling like all of this, like basically like literally AliExpress, like super cheap. They had a big section for K-pop demon hunters, like they had a big section for like just brain rot, and like I don't know if I took a picture of it or not. I don't think I did. Try to find, like, maybe I'll try to find, if I can, I'll find a picture of something that looks similar to it. I don't know if I'll be able to find something or not. But, like, literally just imagine a booth with, like, AI and, like, AliExpress shit just printed on to super cheaply made stuff. And it was just that being sold. And it was all, like, IPs, popular kid IPs. And that's who all was stopping at the booth. Like, it was kids and my sister. But there was another booth. Actually, I think there might have been a few booths doing this, but this is the one that I noticed. Unless it was 2 booths. It was either 2 booths right next to each other doing the same thing, or it was one big booth. I don't really remember now. But it was literally all just 3D printed junk. I'm not even kidding. They had bins of tiny 3D printed junk. They had the fucking dragons. Literally looked exactly like every other 3D printed dragon. None of them are different. What was popular around that? Oh, the fucking Labubus. Those ugly things. When the Labubu, I already forgot what they were called. See? When the fucking Labubus were popular, they had like little 3D printed Labubus. Like it was literally just a whole booth full of 3D printed stuff, and it attracted kids. So the kids were playing with it, but I heard so many parents literally say, like, you're not getting that. Like, and unfortunately, I'm sure that booth did make some money. Maybe, probably, definitely a lot more than they should have. But, like, I kind of just have to think, like, how do you have the, like, balls to show up to a craft fair full of so many talented people? Like, we got a, like, basically, like, it was, like, it's kind of, like, half, like, painting, half like wood engraving. It's super cool. But we got this super cool art piece from this guy who literally hand makes his whole art. Like, it's super cool. Like, no AI, no nothing. It's literally just this older guy, a Hawaiian, who makes his own like Hawaii themed art. It's super cool. Like, we have a special frame for it. We got it shipped to our house. Like, literally super cool. And that's the type of art that I want to support at a craft show. But how do you confidently show up to a craft show selling just full-on junk? And how are you just content with yourself doing that around all of these people who like, this is their life's work? They spend like all of their days making this stuff for people, and you just sit on the couch while your machine makes it for you. And it's insulting. It's honestly insulting to the people around you. Like, again, these people work so hard on what they do. They make it themselves. They make it, and like, they have, a lot of these people like had like their families helping them. Like, a lot of these people, like, they were baking, they were like making like signs and stuff. There was like jewelry, like basically like almost anything you could think of. These people were making it. They were making it super cool. They were like using their resources too. People on Hawaii who like were using like the lava rocks to make beads for like bracelets and stuff. And it's just like, how do you show up to craft fairs selling shit that you got from AliExpress and like mark it up like 100% and genuinely feel good about yourself doing? Like, sure, you're making money, but like, that's just so insulting to the people around you that you get to show up with complete junk and still make money because they were getting sales. And these people have to work for it so hard and you're doing nothing. And I kind of don't understand why craft shows maybe don't like review like what booth is going to be selling what, you know what I mean? Like, it's a craft show. Like, technically, yeah, you could be like, oh, I made it. Like, I made this 3D printed thing with my 3D printer. Like, no, you copy and pasted a code into it and hit go. And then you sat on the couch watching, like, fucking Love Island or something. Like, you didn't do shit. Like, again, there were people who had, like, a lot of, like, baked goods there. They got up, like, so early in the morning to make them fresh for that day. And you did nothing. Like, these people feel so good about themselves because they think they found, like, a nice little cheat code to get money or whatever. You're a shit person. You're a shit person. I'm getting so mad I don't even know what to say anymore. And, like, unfortunately, yes, it is this serious because these people are taking over space for crafters and people who enjoy getting like handmade and small businesses items. And unfortunately, there's just gonna be more of these people because they think it's successful. You know what I mean? They think they can buy a 3D printer and just find like an infinite money glitch. And that's why I'm glad that Rosie, the girl we were talking about earlier, didn't sell anything because no. Again, is there ways to use a 3D printer, like, in crafts that's, like, kind of justifies it? Yeah, I'm pretty sure there is. Again, if you have, like, a very unique, like, code design and, like, you do, like, paint little bits yourself, I can see that being more justified. But just full on, like, copy and paste a, like, Pinterest code, basically, into your 3D printer and just let it run and then call it a day. And there's another video here where it's just the same thing. It's all 3D printed stuff they're trying to sell as like little trinkets, or it's AI generated art that the person didn't even make themselves. Bought it from AliExpress, which, like, not saying it would be better if they like did it themselves. It's AI generated art. It's gonna be a problem either way. I'm just saying, like, you literally buy stuff from a, like, literal shit from a drop shipping website for like 90 cents and then you're selling it for like $30 at a craft fair. And like, really want, again, I don't have the social skills to do this. Maybe if I get mad enough at a craft fair, I'll do this. I'll film it for y'all, post on TikTok, having a crash out. But I really want somebody, and if one of you guys do this, tag me in it, please. I want somebody to go up to one of these people who make, like, maybe not the 3D printed stuff, well, maybe that too, but like the people who just make these, like, just straight up slop at these craft fairs, like especially the stuff that's clearly from AliExpress. I want somebody to go up to them and just ask them how they made it. Ask them if it's handmade and how they made it. I want to see their response to it. Like, are they gonna lie? Are they gonna be like, yeah, I drew all this art myself, I like stitched all this up? I understand why artists do this. They do gatekeep like some of the steps of their art process, which I do understand, because if someone were to like exactly replicate that, then it would really suck for their business. So I really understand why they do that some of the times. But again, when I was in Hawaii, I went to a lot of like small business, like little like booths and stuff just all around the island. You know, there was like a little like village like circle thing, and it was like just basically all like small businesses, and they just loved telling us how it was made. You know, it was really interesting. And again, that makes you feel more connected to the piece you're buying. If you were to go up to one of the people selling just AI slop at an art event and you were like, hey, how'd you make this? And they were like, oh, I actually just bought it off of a junk website. That's not gonna incline you to buy it more, you know what I mean? Like, you're like, oh. And unfortunately, this is like a really big problem with people just using AI and just either making and selling slop or using AI slop, just not putting the effort they should be putting into really creative event. You know, I found this video of somebody at a tattoo convention, and the tattoo artists were literally advertising like themselves through AI or using AI as designs. Because if you go to like a tattoo convention, they have like pictures of the designs that like they can put on you, and like some of those were AI. A tattoo convention should be a very creative place. You know, I know artists who literally make their own designs to put in like books in their stores, and they work very closely with their clients to like help them design a perfect tattoo. And it's all like hand drawn and everything. But when you're using AI, it just takes away from that so much.
I don't mean to yuck on somebody's yum, but I've noticed more and more AI slop appearing at craft fairs, art fairs, where there used to be artists who did unique pieces. Even if they did prints and photography, at least you knew it was made by a human being. These have obviously been spit out by AI. And I get it, everybody's got to make a living. But if you're going to call it an art fair, if you're going to call it a craft fair, there should be some arts and crafts there. And if it's going to be AI slop, label it that. And give this an F.
Personally, sir, I have to give it an F too, because I do agree, these people want you to think that they made this stuff. That's why I really want someone to go up to these people and actually ask them questions about their art. You know, I want to see like what they respond to that, because they're not going to label it as fake. They're at a craft fair. They're just going to hope that you're going to assume that they made it. And like, I really don't see 3D printing as a loophole to that, you know? Like, you didn't make that AI slop because you put in like a prompt. You didn't make that 3D printed item because you put in a code and pressed go and it did it for you. And then you made like 0 modifications to it after. So it annoys me so much. Like, it actually really does, because just where do you get the confidence? You know what I mean? Like, personally, I have not been to Comic-Con, but I heard that it's an issue at like conventions where people are just selling junk, AliExpress junk of just like popular characters, thinking it will sell because we're at a convention for characters and stuff. Like, when truly, no. Like, again, I said this before, but it's just insulting to the people around you, because there are people at Comic-Con I've seen that literally make their own stuff. They hand draw their own art, they print it, or even maybe they paint it, and just they hand make their own stuff. That's the point. Like, they work so hard all year for these conventions, like year round and stuff. Like, maybe they try to go to as many conventions as possible and stuff, you know. Make their own items for these conventions, for fans at these conventions, for people who are also maybe fans of the same thing they are and consume the same media and want like merchandise of these characters. And it is just so insulting to pull up next to them selling AI and AliExpress slop. Like, I heard that they have something called Artist Alley at like conventions and stuff, and it's literally just supposed to be for artists, strictly just for artists. But I've heard that AI slop is leaking into these spaces. That is so horrible. Like, again, I make my own stuff a lot of the time. I have a whole Depop where all I do is just make little things. And I don't want to say this definitely, because again, I'm gonna give them the benefit of a doubt and say that I'm not completely sure that this is what 100% happened, but I'm fairly sure that I have had somebody on Etsy steal my design of an ornament that I made out of clay and painted it myself and everything, and instead they just 3D printed the design almost exactly the way I had it out of clay. So I think that's the reason why I'm honestly getting so upset over this, is because when that happened to me, I was honestly, I was so mad, honestly. Like, when I came up with that idea I like literally researched it and everything, making sure that like I didn't like accidentally steal the idea. You know what I mean? Because like sometimes I'll come up with ideas and I'll like think they're mine and I'm like, oh wait, no, actually, I got that idea because of this. Like that already happened. But I literally looked it up beforehand, making sure that like I wasn't ripping anyone off. I couldn't find anything, so I'm like, oh my god, yes, I literally just came up with this idea on my own. I felt so proud of myself. Same day I had the idea, I spent my entire school day like obsessing over it. I like drew it out and everything. And then I came home and I like immediately started making it. Like I made it out of clay, I like baked it, I painted it, I got ribbon to like tie the little like ornament hanger for it. You know what I mean? Literally bought special glitter Mod Podge because I thought it would look good on like the icing and stuff. I was just generally so excited that I had this idea. And I was on Etsy like a few weeks after I had posted my listing for it on Depop. A few weeks after I had put it on my Depop, and I wouldn't say it was a very popular item, but I would say it got I got more notices than I thought I would on it, like more likes. A few weeks later, on Etsy, I come across somebody selling a 3D printed like keychain, I think it was, of basically my exact same design, again, but 3D printed. And again, am I saying it's a very complicated design? Absolutely not. Am I just saying it's a little strange? Yeah, because I don't even know if I still have the picture, but the sprinkle placement was kind of in like the same place and everything. Like, anyways, all that to say, it feels like complete shit when your work is taken over by a machine. And people are going to craft fairs and conventions, just places that are known for being full of just some of the most creative people in the world. Like, especially conventions, because even the people just walking around, even if they don't have a booth, they're in like full-on outfits that they made like themselves and like props and everything. Like, that is so just insulting. Like, and again, how do you not feel bad about yourself doing this? Like, how do you genuinely think that what you're doing is fine? Like, is the money that good? Okay, so the last video that I want to talk about today is a video that I found of an 11-year-old girl who sells 3D printed items just like on the street, I think.
How old are you?
11.
Good for you, girl. You
Thank
go.
you.
How
20
much are
minutes
these?
is 7.
7?
Yeah, you can get it.
One of these. What do I owe you?
8.
$8?
Yeah.
Wow. Maybe they'll buy something.
I 3D printed these. There's this dragon.
So cool.
Thank you.
How much are your bookmarks?
7.
Okay, I'll get one.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Did you make them in the lab at school?
No, I have 2 3D printers.
No way.
Yeah.
You go, girl. You should start your own company. How old are you?
11.
Good for you, girl. You go.
Thank you. What's some
Okay.
advice you would give to an 11-year-old artist?
Keep doing what you love. Don't
Yeah.
give up on your dream. Seriously.
Yes.
It always works out.
Started this and it was like a dream. We started with little keychains and it was a dream, and then this is how it's been. So that's some
Exactly.
good
Just
advice.
Just keep growing it. You got it. I'll support you. Okay.
Thank
Can
you.
Get my Venmo.
It's on my mom's phone, but I'm
Okay.
pretty sure I did. Okay, thank you.
Oh my
That one's
God,
25.
Look at that thing. What is it?
It's like a fidget.
The sound of it is always
Yeah.
about as cool as
Mhm.
anything.
And then you can like turn it. It's like blue
Oh.
and green.
Okay, I'm going to get
Mm.
these.
Thank you.
And
You'll be the
then-
first customer.
Really?
Yeah.
How long you been out here today?
Like
How
20
much are
minutes. It's 7.
these? 7?
Yeah, you can get a discount.
Yeah,
No.
5. I'll do
No,
5.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let me get my wallet.
She talks about it being her dream, that she's like doing her dream is to sell 3D printed items. And she is 11, so I feel bad like being mean. 3D printed items. And again, she's selling pretty basic items. Like, she has like all the basic like fidget toys and everything. And her prices are really expensive because she shows in the video that people were interested in her products until they found out the price. Like, there was this one old lady in the video who literally like walked away and was like, oh, well, maybe someone else will buy something, like after she found out the price of an item. And I honestly can't say that that's not a valid response for a chunk of plastic, essentially. A chunk of cheap plastic. Yes, a machine is expensive. Yeah, she had to like put in a code or whatever to get the machine to make that thing. But at this point, all these items are so basic that the code's probably copy and pasted. At least for most people. I don't want to accuse her of anything. And again, she didn't make the items. The machine did by spitting out plastic in a certain shape. And I just kind of find it sad that her dream is to sell 3D printed items instead of like actual art, like paintings or jewelry or something like that. Literally anything else. Candles, soap, so much you can make and sell that has to be so much more fun making and so much more fulfilling than 3D printing. And her items are very expensive because her mom had to quickly step in and be like, we'll give you a discount, we'll give you a discount. When like that one guy was like, this is $7. Again, she's a kid, so I don't want to be too mean. Yeah, that shit is expensive for a piece of plastic. And like, yeah, the one lady bought a bookmark, kind of practical. But other than that, honestly, what are you gonna do with half of these fidget toys half the time? Like, some of these are just huge. Like, you can't carry them around with you. And like, I don't know. I don't want to blame the parents for encouraging this because, you know, it's like, she's a kid. She is making some money and stuff, you know. You want to believe in your kid. You want to support them. But like, I don't know. At a certain point, don't you want to like encourage your kids to be more creative? Doing what everyone else is. She's just younger. And unfortunately, I do feel like that's one of the main reasons she's getting sales. Because she's a kid. When you're 11 years old, you can tell when someone's 11 years old. And I kind of find it just unfortunate that this is what kids are seeing and looking up to. You know, instead of going to craft shows and seeing actual artists, creators there, and like being interested and wanting to make that themselves, they're seeing 3D printed stuff and being like, oh, if I just buy a 3D printer, like find some code on the internet, I can sell stuff and make a ton of money. Like, there's no care or thought put behind it. But what do you guys think about the situation? Do you guys think that vendor slop should stay at craft shows, or do you think that there should be some rules or something implemented so that it's just strictly handmade crafts only? Just comment down below any thoughts or feelings that you have. I always say this, but I do always try to like and reply to comments. If you like this video, then like the video, and then maybe watch another video, and then consider subscribing, maybe. And I think that's it, so I will hopefully see you guys next time. Bye!